Greetings, anime addicts and cartoon fanatics. This is your analyst Chol Yerlow here. Before we get started on this video, here's a few announcements. First announcement is I do have a new VidMe channel. The VidMe's purpose for right now is to just be any uploads of any videos currently got copyright claims I can't get rid of on YouTube. But the other purpose is eventually, as you see, some of the Clannad videos are on there. Whenever I finally get back to Clannad and back to Project Diva, I will be uploading them on the VidMe and on YouTube simultaneously, with YouTube being the edited versions and VidMe being the unedited versions. I need more followers there so I can get verified and be able to have the 3 gigabyte upload limit a week taken away, so I can upload quicker and do that. So if you just go to the VidMe channel and follow there, that will help me out greatly. I appreciate that. The Tanaka-kun Always Listless video is almost done. I'm having a few technical issues, as always, on it. So why not add more to the pile by doing this video? Hopefully I can... Now this will work as well. So, what are we here to discuss? Well, we're here to discuss all the anime I've not discussed yet. There were a lot of anime that I watched and enjoyed in 2016. First is Kiss Him, Not Me. Now, with an anime title like that, I was really confused on what the show was going to be about, and that's why I was kind of hesitant to even go check it out. My first thought was that it was a romance anime where the girl liked a bunch of guys, but the guys didn't like her, so I thought the line was the guys saying, kiss him, not me, you know, go for the other guy, or something like that. But that's not what the show's about. It's about the main character, Kai Serinuma. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Now, when I saw the promotion work for it, I saw her looking like this. However, when the first image we see of her, she looks like this, which is very confusing. I didn't even realize it was her at first. So the story is that she falls into the fandom of BL. Now, if you don't know what BL is, that is boy love, you know, and that's kind of obvious from the title. Which kind of explains the title of the show itself. She actually pairs off a bunch of her, you know, classmate guys as you know, couples and stuff. She likes to see boy-on-boy action, basically. Now here is where it gets a bit crazy. From the start we see her looking like that, and I was sitting there watching, trying to figure out, okay, why should I like that now? I was trying to figure out in my head what's the story here. Are we going to learn that they all secretly like her, and the image that we saw, you know, here was how they see her or something? But no, here's the ridiculous stuff. And a lot of you might actually get ticked off by when you hear this. Turns out one of her favorite characters from a show ends up, you know, being killed off. And she's so distraught from it that she hides herself in a room for, I think, 3 days. And when they remove the covers from her bed to try to get her to get out of bed, lo and behold, she's lost all this weight and now looks gorgeous. Yes, I know. A lot of you are really ticked off by that premise. But yeah, that's what the premise is, and she goes back to school, you know, dealing with the new look, and all her guy friends suddenly think she's so attractive, and they try to become more friendly with her. Now, with the premise like that, I know a lot of you were thinking, oh, this is just, you know, this is sexist, or this is, I'm not entirely sure what the terminology you would use for that, being offensive, whatever. But it actually works. It's actually pretty good comedy. No, dealing with the new fame and everything, and then eventually they learn that she is, you know, into BL and a real otaku, and dealing with the thing I think you really need to understand is, even though she goes from looking like this to that, her personality does not change one bit, and that's what makes this character so fun to watch. I'm not lying to you that from what I saw of her before the transformation, I was actually enjoying her. She was so adorable, so funny, so just out there, you know. And she still is, despite, becoming, more beautiful. She still hyperventilates when she sees a moment that reminds her of her BL stuff. And what's also good about the show is that as it progresses, not all of them, but most of the guys have a little arc on what it means to like her, why they like her. One has a really adorable one. There's an episode where suddenly she becomes fat again. I can't remember exactly the details of how that happened, but in that process, he learns that she was always, been that, the character she is, and he figures out he loves her for that, not for her looks now, and it doesn't matter. Which is kind of silly because I think in the same episode they worked to get her to looking good again because of some contesting and whatnot. Now, another great thing I love about some of the characters is one of the guys is completely oblivious that she has had any type of transformation. I might be misstating it a little bit, but he doesn't see her suddenly as beautiful or attractive and tries to get with her. He always sees her as just the friend that he's always had, and I think that's adorable. What they do with that, I think, I don't really like what they do with that at one point, but it's still a nice story arc and all that. Now another thing I think is real interesting. A lot of you might get interested because of this. Is that one of her suitors later is a female. It looks a lot like a guy. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but when it does the backstory of why she liked her, ends up liking. Well, when they do the backstory of why she likes her, it's really interesting. I can't really share too much about that. And I guess that's all I can really say about it. The comedy is good. The romance is well done. But it's more. But I will warn you, it is way more for comedic effect. Especially the end of the show, which I think might actually be the end of the show, not just the season. How it plays out. Who she ends up choosing. I'll put it that way. It's pretty funny. Well, by the way, another interesting note. I'm just going to throw this, not exactly spoil, but I'll throw it out there anyway. None of them admit that they like her until the very last episode, which makes all the hijinks that follow just more hilarious. That she has no idea. I think she has a sense of it, but she's kind of oblivious to it because all she wants to see is BL, boy love, Another one I want to bring up is Scorching Ping Pong Girls. Now, here's the thing that's going to throw a lot of y'all off. Scorching Ping Pong Girls, if I had finished this, video thing completed like I intended to, it would have been my number 2 choice for Best of the Year. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. What? Scorching Ping Pong Girls? With that title? That's your number 2, beating out Sweetness and Lightning, which, yes, even I am shocked by that. But here's the thing, it's not as dirty as it sounds. Okay, those scenes are completely out of context. Scorching Ping Pong Girls follow I believe it's a high school ping pong club, whatever. I need to bring this up. When the show starts off showing a tournament with a completely different group. If any of y'all, I remember watching this with the New Year's Japan group, and First they didn't think they were going to like it because it shows a tournament where a group loses. They lose badly. They're humiliated, and they're really crying, really sad about it. And they're like, "Oh, we don't want to follow these people." And I'm like, "Well, don't worry. That's not who we follow." Why we start showing it from this point of view of these people, I have no idea. It shows that, then it goes straight into another group who has a, sorry, I apologize for not bringing up names because I'm terrible with remembering names, and I'm not going to, bother wasting time trying to pronounce the names right. But it follows this one girl who's the ace in the class, and we see her story, her backstory, and everything of how she came to be the ace, what her purpose, or feels her purpose is, and all that. And then suddenly a new girl, by the way, if you are a fan of shy girls, be prepared to meet your new waifu. She is probably the shyest character I've ever seen in an anime. She comes to join the group, and on the day that she joins, they decide to have a tournament, to start doing a tournament to see, where she places in the ranks of everybody. And turns out she's pretty awesome. Incredibly awesome for a shy girl. Like, as the each game progresses, she gets more into it, and she basically burns through everybody. Now, here's the interesting thing I wanted to point out. Within the first 3 episodes, we have that. We see the backstory of the ace, how she became to be the ace, why she did it, and the worry she has of this new girl possibly taking over her place. And then it builds up in the third episode where they have their tournament to see if she's better than her or whatnot. That first 3 episodes is so well done, so well paced, so well explained, so well told, that literally, with a payoff at the end of episode 3, is so good. The show could have ended there and I would have been happy. I'm not even kidding. It was that well put together. But it continues on. And I can't remember exactly the middle point. It's more of the kind of the hijinks, I guess, of being in a ping pong club. But then it goes to where they have a tournament with another team from another school. Now, here's the thing. That tournament is one of the most nail-biting things I have ever seen. Every single match, every single moment, I was hooked. I was on the edge of my seat every second. So well put together, so well played out, so well, done. And here's the thing. That was a practice tournament. It's a practice tournament. It's not for any real stakes. And yet I was nerve-wracked with each match. I know it's going to be impossible to believe that, but it is so well done. And in the process of that, we are introduced to a girl who, I don't know if she's got any official, nickname anywhere, but to me, she's Death Girl. Why is she Death Girl? Because every other word she says is death in all her statements. I will beat you to death. Something death this, death that. And I could not figure out why her design was so creepy to me. But then I realized, if you see how every girl's eye is animated, how the pupil's done and everything, no one really has a solid middle pupil color like they normally do. They're all solid, except for her, which makes her look more beady-eyed and crazy. Like the other team, opposing team, obviously is the antagonist, and they're all interesting and real funny to watch as well. But Death Girl, obviously, is supposed to be kind of the antagonist towards the shy girl. And they end up having the match together and everything. Here's the thing. I'm going to try not to reveal too much. But here's the interesting thing. Here's how well the storytelling is and how well the characters are explored. By the end of the match, I was crying for Death Girl. I am not even joking. I was emotionally torn for her. It's so weird. I know it's going to be hard to explain and hard to believe, but you really just need to go see for yourself. Oh yeah, I've got to bring this up about the top girl, the ace. The joke I would have made is that, well, as you see her, look at her. Look at her. Every single design, she's designed like all these other twin-tailed girls from all of these similar shows. In fact, she looks exactly, her design is so much like, I'm sorry, I can't not remember her name from Lucky Star. Yeah, her. It's ridiculous. Why do they follow these designs so much? They need to branch out a little bit. But anyway, there's that. Now, other 2 points I want to bring up with the show that happened is the last, I think just the last one episode felt like a filler to me. But I want to point out 2 things I love about it. One, it is a bathhouse scene filled with fog. They do have a, like a retreat or something after the practice tournament because they feel like deserve it. But they don't abuse that. They don't go, okay, here's our excuse to just be fan servicey and expose these girls and stuff. They don't. Unlike another particular anime that did that. I'm looking at you, New Game. Another element that happens there, something that I thought was so cute, is that it was not only a spot, it was also a practice thing, and on the very last day, the end, everything like, oh, we're finally done with all this hard practicing and all that, like, yay, and the shy girl and the ace sneak back into there to practice. And then 2 of the other, like, kind of secondary main characters come in and find them and start playing. And then everyone else in the class joins. Like, they've been working so hard. They have been practicing so hard and been worn out. And what they end up doing with their last night is going back in and just playing for fun. And I think that is so cool. That just shows how much these girls love this game. And I found that so refreshing to see that. Another interesting thing to point out is that there's an episode where 2 of the secondary main characters, these 2, sorry, I can't remember their names, it shows how they became friends, their story, and it's pretty adorable too. That's all I'm going to say. By the way, this character, I'm not sure which one I decided to put her on, but she's kind of my favorite just because of her design, where her mouth is never shown. She's always either wearing a scarf or her shirt is shirt neck, whatever it's, shirt collar, excuse me, is always folded up where you can't see her mouth. And I don't know why they decided to do that, but I just love that design. Well, anyway, that's Scorching Ping Pong Girls. I hope I explained it well enough to make it interesting enough for you to go check out. High School Fleet. This is another one where I like to put in the category of School Live. Without giving any more spoilers, it's more connected to that than I previously thought when I started. So, we start the show off where it's about these girls going into a class type thing where their classroom is a battleship. They learn the basics of running a battleship and all that to train for the Blue Mermaids, I think is the name of the group. Yeah, and starting off watching it, I'm just thinking this is just going to be a Girls in Pantser type thing, which I didn't ever actually watch all the way through. I saw the first episode of. Was just, oh, these cute girls doing cute things. It's one of those shows where it's not just cute girls doing cute things. It's cute girls doing cute things. It's one of those type of shows. It starts off and it's just them learning their assignments and whatnot, and two girls who were like childhood friends, they both end up becoming captains, and they go to different ships. So they're all shipping out and going to an area to learn the traits and all that. And suddenly, they're attacked by one of the main ships, one of the, trainer ships. Oddly. And, but what's weird is that the other ship seems to just be purposely missing them. So, in the chaos and whatnot, they decide to fire to dismantle the ship without, doing any type of killing and whatnot, so they can escape. And they think, oh, this is some training thing or something, odd as it is. Well, then they get word over the radio that their ship has been labeled as mutiny. So now the story of these girls on a ship who is now considered an outlaw, trying to figure out how to keep safe from the other ships attacking them for mutiny, while they try to figure out why that main ship attacked them. The mystery of that. And that in itself is so intriguing. You start to think it's just cute girls doing cute things, but it's kind of more action-packed. It's one of those things where it's taking a kind of boring idea genre, which I love, don't get me wrong, I love cute girls doing cute things, but throwing something different in there. Something, that gives it some type of weight. And sadly, I can't think of any other way to talk about any more of the show without giving away spoilers. I will tell you this, though. The one complaint I have about the show is they set up, a mystery of why did this one ship attack? Then they explain why this one ship attacked was because of this certain element. And they never truly explained where that element came from. Ever. I think. Unless I missed something. So, be prepared for that. But it's a pretty good show. It's a really, really good show. There's only one episode I really consider a... what's the term I'm looking for? Filler episode. Oh, by the way, it has one of my all-time favorite out-of-context lines. Is that not the best thing you've ever heard? Another anime I want to talk about that I really enjoyed from 2016 is this one, Momokuri. So, the story is, as obvious, it's a romance story between this guy and this girl, where it starts off where she tells him that she likes him and will you date me, and he agrees. And the rest of the show is them dating. Here's the twist. She's a stalker. In fact, she's been stalking him for quite a while. This is where I was losing. Me and the New Japan gang were watching the show, and this is where we were losing each other because they found her creepy, and I found her adorable. But then again, I'm a 30-year-old man who has no significant other. Trust me, I'm desperate. The story is basically all this hijinks of her, being like this. When I say stalker, let me explain. She'd follow him around, taking pictures of him, even to the point where she figured out how tall he was by taking a picture of him at the tree and then going to the tree and marking where his head was and stuff and all that. Yeah, and she also collects things that he throws away, like pieces of tissue or straws and stuff. And yes, even through that, I found her adorable. Again, I'm desperate. I have such a bad memory about the rest of the show. I think what made me appeal to me so much about the show is the certain elements of the characters. Yeah, it's, you have this girl who is, a stalkerish type. But here's the thing. She is so shy. The reason I didn't find her creepy is because she wasn't really aggressive with her, liking of him. She's really shy around him. She's really, restrained, and she really does realize she's being creepy. It's just that she can't help herself. But the other element I think was really cool is that he has to deal with. Now you can't really tell from that, but he's actually a very short guy, and not really manly looking and all that, and he's really self-conscious about that. So and the funny thing is that's what she likes about him, is that he's tiny and cute, and she's kind of shy in himself and all that. And it's interesting because you're watching this couple where he has to deal with that, and while having a girl that likes him for those things. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's cute. It's all I can say. It's just really, really cute. And how to explain this without sounding creepy in myself, but you know how a lot of shows try to explain the feeling of, attraction between two characters. Sometimes they go a little too fan servicey with it or something, but the point of them doing that is to express, to get the idea that one character is attracted to another and all that. This is the first time I've seen a show where just the simple act of holding each other's hands sparked that feeling in me. It's weird. I know it sounds really creepy, but I've never seen a show that expresses that idea of being in love for the first time, and the first time holding someone's hand or feeling someone else's touch, reminding me of that. It's really crazy. I don't know how to explain it. And the only other thing I can think of to say about the show, off the top of the dome, is that there is a scene where she finally admits to him how creepy she is with liking him, and kind of reveals the creepy things where she's like collecting stuff from him and stuff like that. I can't explain it, but it is actually one of the sweetest things ever. How it's done, how it's handled. Like I don't have any audio clips or whatnot, but just the way she sounds. When she admits it to everything, you can hear that she's it has kind of a sad sound to it. I don't know. It's just, she really freaking loves this guy. Like, she sounds kind of sad when she's like talking to him and stuff. Like, she's so into him, and I couldn't help but find it adorable instead of creepy. And how they handle his reaction afterwards of learning the creepiness of him, I won't give away, but it's adorable. That's all I can say. I'm sorry I'm being so vague with this one. It's just because I can't really remember, and I don't have the time to watch every episode again to bring up all my favorite moments and stuff. But I really enjoyed it. I think that's all I'm going to discuss, in detail. I'll bring up the other ones suggesting you should go watch. As my computer's on that side. Classical Lloyd, kind of what it sounds like. Vocaloids that are actually based on classical music composers like Beethoven and all that. some which have gender swaps for some reason. I can't say much about that show because it was one of those that continued past the year, I think. Hold on. Yeah, continued into the next year, and I actually haven't watched past... I don't think I've actually watched to episode 12 yet. It just kind of... I got so distracted with everything else. Flip Flappers. Basically, all I can say is it's a Studio Trigger looking show that isn't Studio Trigger. That's all I can explain about it. Really good visuals, and basically the best way to put it in 5 seconds is... You know, like that. March Comes In Like a Lion is I can't remember the name of the studio. The same animation studio that does all the Monogatari series, which is a show as a guy at work that just loves that show to death, and I don't know if I could ever watch it because I've seen fan service scenes from it, and it's just not my kind of show. But if the animation looked good on those shows, definitely check out March Comes In Like a Lion. It is the first opening scene. I can't even explain the visual, just euphoricness of it. It is crazy, and it's so just mental. I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's one of the shows. It's really good. And I haven't even finished it yet. I think, the first 12. Haven't you heard? I'm Sakamoto. Very, very funny show about a guy that's perfect. And if that sounds annoying to you, it's actually not that annoying. It's hilarious. And I will say that the ending episode is actually pretty sweet. There's actually a moment where he says, like, he has a speech and something, and it's actually very moving. And the last scene, the last shot is... I don't know how to explain it. It's just a perfect ending to the show and that character. It's crazy. Space Patrol Lulico, a short version, episode version of a Studio Trigger show. That's pretty funny and pretty enduring. I can't really... I can't really remember much enough to explain it very well, but it's got a good lesson about falling in love and how to deal with heartbreak. Let's put it that way. Very mature, and it's got one episode. And what's interesting is it goes on. Certain episodes reference other Studio Trigger works, including Little Witch Academia, which has a very funny cameo with Susie. New Game, which is currently going to be running its next season soon. Just about girls creating a video game, and it's I'm underselling it. It's actually really, really good and really funny. The Art Club Has a Problem. Another show is a comedy that just it would be really hard to explain why I like it so much, you know. Just go see it is all I can say. And Myriad Colors Phantom World. Basically, the best way to describe that show is imagine if the fight scenes of the imaginary world that's created in Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions, imagine if all that was real. You basically have Myriad Colors Phantom World. Well, that's basically all I got to say about all those shows that I didn't talk about. I apologize if it's... I don't really want to do the setup again, but I just have to do it so I can get back to work on other things. I really apologize that it's gotten to this point. It's gotten to the point where I can't put so much energy into this and have a job as well. And I'm not at any point where I can just quit my job. Not with the views and subscriber rate and everything that I have right now. Wink, wink. So, I really don't know how to continue this. I'm not sure how I'm going to continue the rest of this. I do want to immediately, when this is done and the Tanaka-kun is always listless video gets done, to immediately start work on the stuff that I've seen this year, which is not very much because of this whole ordeal. And those videos are probably going to be even more work because the word count of what I've written for the shows I've watched this year are nearly triple what I wrote for these shows, which is crazy. So yeah, look forward to that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully this will not be a nightmare to edit. And as always, folks, stay animated.